guys, my name is Ashley Stetter, and I'm a bachelor's student at the McKendree University Nursing Program. And today we are going to talk about a difficult subject, but one that really needs to be talked about among youth and adolescents, and it's suicide and how we can identify some risks and possibly go through some prevention strategies. So, why do you guys think this is important? Why do you need to know about this?
Just in case somebody might have, that is suicidal or could be thinking about it.
Good.
Learn how to prevent it.
Good, that's perfect. That's perfect because students have a key role in preventing suicide. It's proven that a lot of teens who exhibit suicidal tendencies or show these behaviors that we're about to learn about can show these behaviors to their friends first or their peers first, people that are around them a lot. It's estimated that 9 in 10 teens who have admitted to having suicidal thoughts have displayed warning signs to their peers. So, 9 out of 10 kids that have thought about committing suicide have displayed some type of sign or symptom to people that are around them. So it's really important that you guys know what to look for and what types of behaviors, and then what to do about it if you do see it. So at the end of my presentation, we're going to play a little game, and this is the things I want you to learn. I want you to be able to identify some of the risk factors of suicide. I also want you to be able to identify some of the behaviors that you might see in some of your friends or peers if they are contemplating committing suicide or hurting themselves. And I also want you to be able to know how to get help for a friend, fellow student, or yourself if you feel like that they need it or you need it. So I think first we should go over some statistics about suicide. It's the third leading cause of death among teens and young adults, ages 15 through 24. And every 2 hours and 3 minutes, one youth commits suicide. There's 24 hours in a day, so that's like 12 a day that commit suicide. For every one successful suicide, there are 25 attempts. So if that's 12 a day, think about how many attempts there are in a day. People just 15 to 24. And while the rates have stayed pretty much the same for the rest of the population, since the 1950s, suicide among youth has tripled since that time. So, what are some risk factors that we can identify that you can look for that will help you identify if you think someone's having suicidal behaviors? Depression is the first thing. Teens who are depressed are more likely to commit suicide, and that may seem a little obvious, but about 50% of teens that have attempted suicide have had major depression. So that's really an important thing to look for. If they have a diagnosis of depression or if they are depressed, that's really something to look for as a big sign. Students that have a poor home life or don't feel connected to their parents or family or have issues making friends also are more likely to commit suicide. So people that don't have that family dynamic at home, like a warm family relationship, don't have a good relationship with their parents or their siblings, they're more at risk for committing suicide. Students who also identify themselves as gay, lesbian, transgender, or bisexual are at risk for suicide, and about 17% of these students admitted that they thought about committing suicide or have actually attempted it. Students who are bullied are also at a greater risk for suicide, and since 2011 these numbers have just gone up and up and up, and a lot of suicides or attempts have been attributed to bullying. 1 in 7 students in grades kindergarten through 12 are either bullied or have bullied another student, and 160,000 students a day skip school because they are afraid to go because they are bullied. And a study done by Yale University Kids who are bullied are between 2 and 9 times more likely to consider suicide than people who aren't victims of bullying. So bullying is a serious thing. So, what are some behaviors that we can identify in our friends or our peers, or siblings, or anybody that would make you think that maybe they're thinking about hurting themselves? You may notice they talk about feeling trapped all the time, or say things like, I don't do anything that causes trouble, or I'm just a pain. They kind of down on themselves all the time. They might talk like they're a burden to everybody else, like that they're someone's pain. And that's a big warning sign. They might also use drugs or drink a lot or take a lot of risks, like jumping out in front of a vehicle or jumping off of a roof or something that you think, this is insane, why would he even do this? They seem to take a lot of unnecessary risks and do a lot of risk-taking behavior. They can have a lot of anxiety and want to be alone a lot. And they can also have mood swings and seem really angry and irritable and tired. You might also notice that they've gained a lot of weight or lost a lot of weight. They have a lot of trouble making decisions. They're really indecisive, and they feel worthless and guilty about things that they shouldn't feel guilty about. And they lose interest in things that they like to do before. So, what can we do? So remember that 3 out of 4 teens exhibit warning signs to their friends first. So you guys play a key role in preventing suicide, because you, a lot of times, are the ones that are going to see it first. So you need to know what to do and how to identify and what you can do to help. According to Cincinnati Children's Hospital, there's a method called the LAST method that you can use to remember what to do if you see warning signs of suicide in a friend. So the first one is L, and it stands for listen and look. And you need to look for signs and symptoms of depression and suicide in your friends. Look for things not only in their actions, but in their Facebook posts, in their text messages, in their tweets, in things that in their emails, in places where you can get correspondence with them, but not necessarily talking with them. Because a lot of times you'll hear about on the news somebody's committed suicide and they posted something on Facebook about how this will all be over soon or something like that. Look for stuff like that. When you try to talk to a person about suicide, don't act shocked. Don't act like you're interested in what they have to talk about. Don't be like, oh my gosh, why would you want to do that? Listen to them. Think about what they're saying. Let them know you care, because that's one of the main things. They don't think anybody cares, and you listening to them and actually letting them talk is one of the most important things that you can do. So listening gives them a chance to express their feelings and process what's going on. So listening is a really important thing. The next thing is A, and that is ask. So you need to ask questions, but make sure that they're constructive. So don't say negative things to them, but if they are being negative, ask them, why do you feel this way? What makes you feel this way? And then be quiet and give them a chance to answer, because they'll be able to get it out there, and they'll be able to talk about it, and they'll be able to process the feelings. You can also ask them, what's the problem? Something like that. And then make sure you give them a chance to answer. And then you can maybe give them some ways that you've positively dealt with stress yourself. Like, I listen to music when I get stressed out, or I write in my journal when I get stressed out. Give them some constructive ways that you have dealt with some stress or negative things in your life before. If you're concerned the person is depressed, ask what they've done about it. Have they talked to an adult about it? Have they been to the doctor? Are they on medicine? Kind of try to talk them through that. See if they have told somebody about it, if somebody knows. That way they can get help that they need. If they're being vague and saying things like, oh, I won't be around much longer, or you won't have to worry about me much longer, ask them directly what that means. Are you going to commit suicide? Are you thinking about hurting yourself? Saying those things outright is not going to make them want to commit suicide anymore. It's actually better to say that than to be like, oh, you wouldn't want to hurt yourself, because then they want to prove to you that they are brave enough to do what they're set out to do. You need to be direct, because asking them if they're going to hurt themselves isn't going to make them want to do it. It's going to get you the answers that you need so you can get them help if they need it. The next thing is support. So you want to support your friend or peer. Tell them how much you care about them. Because like I said before, a lot of times these kids, these people don't think that anyone cares. And if you're willing to sit down and listen and let them talk about what they're going through, they'll know that you care, and that helps a lot. Suicidal people need to know, you need to make sure that you reiterate to them that this is permanent. You know, if you do this, it's going to be permanent. There's no going back. A lot of times that will help bring it home. You know what I mean? They haven't really thought, oh my gosh, this is completely permanent. So you really need to let them know that too, and let them know that you're there and that you care and that you support them. And then T is for tell. So you have to tell somebody. You have to tell an adult, you have to tell a counselor, you have to tell a teacher, you have to tell a coach. There's a social worker here. You have to tell somebody, and you go with the person and tell them. Don't say, oh, you need to tell someone and then leave them. Go with them. Make sure they tell their parent. Make sure they tell their teacher. Make sure they tell someone, because you need to support them in coming forth with what's going on with them. That way they can get the help that they need. If you're worried they have a plan, or they told you they have a plan, or you know they have access to a gun, or you know they have access to something to hurt themselves, do not delay in telling somebody. Even if they don't want to tell somebody, you tell somebody, because you telling could save their life. As soon as you can, you tell somebody, and you tell them, I'm doing this to make sure that you're safe. And even if they get mad at you, do it, because they'll know that you care and you might save their life. So, things we don't want to do. Don't downplay the talk of suicide. If anyone, any of your friends, any of your peers start talking that they want to hurt themselves, you feel even an inkling that they might want to hurt themselves, don't downplay it. Take it seriously and come out and ask them, are you going to hurt yourself? Are you thinking about hurting yourself? Because like I said, it's not going to make them want to commit suicide anymore. It's going to get you the answers that you need to get them the help that they need. Don't try to talk them out of it by saying things like, oh, well, just go ahead and kill yourself then if you're going to do it. You know what I mean? Don't say things like that to them. It'll only make them want to prove to you that they're serious about what they're going to do. Don't try to tell them that they don't have it that bad, or you need to look on the bright side, or anything, or things like that. That's not helpful. They are in pain, and they are hurting, and they need someone to listen to them and validate their feelings, not tell them, oh, you don't have it so bad. So make sure that you use that last method. Listen to them and ask questions. Let them know that you genuinely care about what's going on with them. Don't keep secrets. If they say, no, don't tell anybody about this. No, it doesn't work that way. Because you could save somebody's life if you tell somebody. Don't ever keep a secret that somebody's thinking about hurting themselves. You need to tell somebody. You need to tell an adult that can get them help. So how can you cope? Some things that are positive ways to deal with stress, which we talked about a little bit earlier. You can journal, listen to music, read. Make sure you get plenty of sleep at night, which I know is hard, but get plenty of sleep at night. Keep a positive attitude, and then take a look at yourself. Make sure, if you feel like you're getting down, or you're having some funny thoughts, or make sure you keep an eye on yourself and your mental health. And if you feel like any of these things are starting to go on with you, tell somebody. Tell your mom or your dad. If you don't feel comfortable telling them, tell somebody you trust. Tell a teacher, tell a counselor, tell Nurse Panky, tell somebody that you're having these feelings so you can get help. And also, teens that have a positive family and friend relationships are half as likely to suffer from depression. So if you have a good relationship at home with your mom and dad, or if you have great friends that are supportive and positive, that will help you a lot. So keep these relationships open. Last thing you can do is not bully, and I'm going to get on my soapbox about this. Do not bully other people. That is one big way you can stop and prevent suicide. There has been an increase in suicides that are due to bullying over the last several years, and 7.8% of students, almost 10% of students that committed suicide in 2011 attributed it to bullying. That's insane. And bullying can be anything from physical, such like hitting, kicking, personal property damage, or verbal things like threats, intimidating, teasing people, and it can be face-to-face or it can be social media through text messages, emails, Facebook, Twitter, things like that. Don't do it. Think about what you say. Think about what it means. Think about how you would feel if someone said what you were about to say to you. Because once it's out there, you can't take it back. Think about what you say and don't bully other people. And if you see bullying happen, go tell somebody that's going to take it seriously. Tell a teacher, tell a coach, tell the counselor, tell somebody that's going to take it seriously. Because bullying is something that is totally preventable and totally not necessary and causes almost 10% of suicides in young adults. So here's some helpful resources for you guys. So like I said before, you can definitely go tell a coach, a teacher, parent, an adult, someone that you trust if you or someone you know is having suicidal thoughts. But there's also this suicide prevention lifeline. And then CincinnatiChildren's.org also has some great things. And there's also this 24-hour suicide prevention lifeline. And this 800 number here, it's this 273-8255, and it's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and you can call if you're in crisis or someone you know is in crisis, and there will be someone for you to talk to, and it's available in English and Spanish. So, does anyone have any questions? No? Okay, then let's review. So, I have prizes. So, what are 3 risk factors for adolescent suicide? Someone name one.
Bullying.
Bullying. Okay. One more.
Bad relationship with your parents.
Okay. And then what are 3 behaviors that a student may exhibit if they're thinking about committing suicide?
Depression.
Okay. Okay.
Talking about being a burden.
Okay. And what are 2 resources that are available to provide help with suicide? School? Friends? Name one more. On the last slide, what were some of those things?
The suicide hotline number.
Perfect. All right. So there are some references. And I want to pass these out to you guys. They are brochures that I printed off. They've got the suicide prevention hotline on the back, and they've got a lot of helpful tips of the stuff we talked about on the inside. So I want each of you to take one of these, and I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.